Well, hello and welcome back to the garden. If you're new here, my name's Tracy and I've got a tropical style garden here in South Wales in the UK. Now in a few days it's going to be the start of autumn, and that means for me a few little changes around the garden. I've got to go into the greenhouse and sort out the interior there, just get rid of some of the summer plants and make a little bit of space ready for storing some of these plants away for the winter. I've also got a Belfast sink that I use for some seasonal plants, so there'll be a little changeover in that too, and that means a visit to B&M. So stay tuned and I'll show you what I got up to in the garden. And I also made a bit of a mistake last week, so I'll be putting that in as well and what I'm doing to rectify it. So the B&M of choice this morning was my local store in Port Talbot, and I was looking for things to fill up the Belfast sink, but I came across these, and I've got a few of these in the garden, and these are the Pittosporum Bay, and loads of miscanthus grasses on offer, and these were a really good price, £12.50, and loads of different varieties. Some of these grasses I hadn't come across before, and if you are looking for some grasses, here's the place to go. These are also beautiful. Phormium Jester, £12.50, and you can't go wrong with a unanimous, so I picked up one of these to pop into the sink, £6.50. And I also picked up one of these Carex grasses, £6.50. Loads of ferns on offer, lots of different varieties, but as the sink is in a little bit of sunshine, no good for me. These phormiums were also really nice. These are the Phormium Yellow Wave, and these are also £12.50, and they're a really decent size too for that price. And what I also wanted was some cyclamen. So they had plenty of these here, and these were on offer 5 for £5. And just look what I came across, a beautiful butterfly and a bee. But sadly these weren't for sale, but beautiful to stop and look at nevertheless. Some more of these miscanthus grasses, and I couldn't believe the price on these for £12.50. Plenty of different varieties on these, and they're all the same price, £12.50. And talking of miscanthus grasses, that's another thing that I've got to tell you. That's where I went wrong last week. So let's take you back to what I got up to yesterday in the garden and rectifying last week's mistake. So it's finally stopped raining for a little while anyway. And these miscanthus that I did plant last week are not doing too well. Now you can see that down the bottom there, the new growth, that's looking okay. But the older growth is definitely yellowing off and not looking too happy. So I think if I leave them in the ground, they should do okay. But for the moment, I'm just going to trim back some of this growth here and leave the roots in the ground, and hopefully next year they'll come back okay. So the lesson learnt is definitely choose to transplant your miscanthus at the correct time of year, and don't do it when they're fully grown. Definitely wait until the spring, just before they start putting on their growth, or when they do start putting on a little bit of growth, and do it then. But hopefully they live. And I think that's the thing with gardening, what works and what doesn't work. And we're always learning in the garden. Sometimes we all make mistakes. But hopefully this is a mistake that will be rectified next year, and they'll all grow back from the root. Fingers crossed. If not, I'll just have to dig them up and buy some more. It's never the end of the world. We'll just see how it goes. So with the tomatoes, I think now we come into the end of the season. So I might as well get rid of these now. And unfortunately, my compost bin is full to the brim. So I've just got to get rid of these plants. And I'll just trim them down. Dismantle then the bamboo frame. Pop that in the shed for next year. And then just rebuild it up in the pots. And we've had a really good year on tomatoes this year. It's only my second time of growing them, but they did do really well. And I don't even like tomatoes myself, but there we are. I grow them for other people and they seem to like them. But I don't think we're going to get the heat now. So I'll just collect as much of the fruit as I can. And that's it, I think, for this year. Well, at least this morning it's not raining. And before I take you down the greenhouse and show you what I was doing there yesterday, I wanted to show you the flowers that have come out on the lovely Amandiae. Now, as you know, this plant was only put in this year. And if we just go past the large phormium, are you ready for this? This has really grown wonderful this year. The first year, and just look at the growth on that. And right at the top, there's a lovely display of white flowers. That's turned into a really beautiful plant. It's just a shame it's not a blue sky today to show it off. But wonderful. And I've deadheaded now all of the dahlias. There's still a few buds to come out on them, but there's not many now. I normally keep this changed for the seasons, and I think the begonias now have come to the end. So I think I'll fill that with some cyclamen and maybe some lovely heucheras or something for the winter months. I've also added in some rudbeckia in the last few weeks, and they are just brightening up the spaces. And it was lovely yesterday really to have a good bit of rain, because the garden has been so dry, and it rained for most of the day, but I'm not complaining because the garden really needed it. Now, one of the plants that we've seen the most growth on this year has definitely been the Arundodonnax. This has been in the ground now for 3 years, and I actually measured it, and it's still going up, and this year it's reached over 10 feet tall, which is the tallest it's been so far. And you know when the seasons are changing, because my lovely guacamole hosta, the leaves are now starting to go over. And it's been a fantastic plant yet again this year, and grew to a wonderful size. This has got to be well over 1 metre across, and it's sad to see it go for another year. But it'll be back, bigger and stronger than ever, next season. Now, if you remember a few weeks ago, I was telling you that I was getting a lot of grass underneath my bird table. Well, I found this. It's slightly more expensive. It is £6.50 a pack, but it's no grow seed mix. Weed-free feeding. So hopefully, if I start using this, I can say goodbye to grass growing underneath the bird table. So let's take a look inside the greenhouse and see how it's looking now at the moment. Well, you can see it's looking very empty, and all we've got here now is one pepper plant, and I've washed all the trays and just popped them to one side for the moment. Tony's agave plant is taking up quite a bit of space in the corner there, and that's really enjoying the sunshine today. It's 31 degrees in here at the moment. I've brought in the Mangave and the Ionium, and I've just got a few little cuttings there from some indoor plants that I've got. And underneath I've still got a few peppers and chilies, and I've also brought indoors now the 2 agapanthus, and these are the agapanthus fireworks. So as you can see now from the outside, this is looking a lot more empty than it usually does. And that empty space there on top of the gravel, that'll be where I'm going to store my dahlias now for the winter months. But they've still got some flowering yet to do, so it won't be just yet. So what did I end up buying from B&M for the Belfast sink? Well, I came away from there with 5 little cyclamen plants, and these are lovely, pink and white. A new Carex grass, which is called Amazon mist, a unanimous there at the back, and a little Photinia Carré Rouge. That's quite small at the moment, but that'll look quite nice now in the Belfast sink. And when it does grow a little bit too big for that, I can pop that in the garden, because I am a great lover of the Photinia Carré Rouge. Lovely, beautiful plant that gives bright red foliage now in the spring. And it's evergreen, so it'll always look good. They didn't have any heucheras, but if I've got a little bit of space for one, I can always take one from the garden and pop it in with these. So I've been dodging the showers, but nothing at all from the Belfast sink has been thrown away. The begonias I've replanted because they've probably got a few more weeks left in them. But the Photinia Carré Rouge was just too large to put in the sink. So that's been put down the bottom of the garden there. So even though it's been raining, it's all had a good water. And just moving along behind the greenhouse, I've just placed the grass there. So as we turn around, you can see that along here I've just planted in a few of them begonias down the step, just along there. So I'm really loving this centre bed now. Everything seems to be settling in, and we've still got a few of the salvias there. So let's take you up to the Belfast sink. So this too has had a water, and I've got 5 cyclamen plants in here. The ivy has stayed. I've put in 2 heucheras from the garden and the unanimous there, and I like the leaf on that, so that's going to grow quite big, but I can take that out at a later date and plant it in the garden. But hopefully now that'll fill out lovely for the autumn and winter months. Beautiful. Happy with that. Lovely job. And if you like gardening videos like this one, then why not subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the notification bell so that you never miss an update in the garden. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.